Hello, welcome back to this video series on the overview of the TI-nspire. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the graphing tab in a document. I'm going to open up a new document and add a graphing tab. And here you'll see a field to enter a function that is explicit, just in terms of x. So I'll enter a basic function here, x squared. To look at a parabola, and you'll see that this function is titled f1 of x. I can go ahead and hit enter, and here is my function, f1 of x equals x squared. If I want to move this label around, you see if I hover over it, it has a little hand here. If I click down, I can drag this, and any icon or kind of label that pops up, you can move if it's in the way. So something else I want to show you with this graph is if I go to menu and window zoom, I can go ahead and change what I'm looking at, how I'm looking at the graph. There's zoom in, zoom out. There is a zoom box, which is probably the most beneficial and useful tool. You'll see it asks for the first corner. So if I click here and then drag, it allows me to kind of box and select exactly what I want to go ahead and look at. Okay. Again, under window and then window settings, you can go ahead and choose a specific kind of view that you want, right? So your X minimum, let's just go -5, and then my X max will also make this 5. Y scale or X scale, you can change it to each scale you want to be 1, or you want to go by 2s, however you want to change it. So let's just go -5 to 5, and then Y scale, we'll leave it as auto. We'll kind of see what happens. Okay, and there you can see, so each X kind of unit is just 1, a distance of 1, and then the Y scales, it looks like we're going by 0.5s. Okay. So something else that you can go ahead and do when you're on a graph is you can just click and drag. So if I hold down my trackpad cursor, again, using your cursor here, if I just hold down, click down, and then drag, I can kind of move my window where I want. So that helps for slight movements. You can also, again, change your scales by hovering over the axes and then kind of pulling down, that would zoom out. If you pull up, that would kind of zoom in. So those are just some of the ways to go ahead and change your window. Looking at another window feature here, you can go ahead and change it to standard, which is just your 10 by 10. You can just zoom in on the first quadrant. We'll kind of see that, quadrant 1. Okay, and it just kind of changes your view. All right, so something else I want to do in the graphing tab is you can add multiple functions or multiple graphs, just like Desmos. If I want to go ahead and add another function, I can double click on this function here. This allows me to edit this function, f1 of x, and if I hit the down arrow on my trackpad up here, I can go ahead and enter a second function. So let's just go ahead and graph the square root of x. Okay, and I hit enter, and then there is my graph. Okay, and you can see that there. Additionally, too, if you want to go ahead and edit your graphs or add graphs, is you can go and hit tab, and the tab button will allow you to enter and alter those graphs. Okay. So that's kind of the main features that I wanted to show you in the graphing tab, is that you can add multiple graphs, and you can go ahead and change your window settings. So something else I want to point out too is if I'm going to go ahead and add, say, a third graph here, and maybe my function is implicit, it has x's and y's mixed. If you hit the delete button here, you'll see that you can now graph inequalities, an equation, and a relation is if you have x's and y's mixed. So I'm going to enter a relation, and I'm just going to do a circle here. X squared plus y squared is equal to, and we'll have a radius of 3, so I'm going to enter 9. R squared is what that's equal to. So here you can go ahead and see now I have a circle, okay? And that's a relation. Another way to enter the different types of graphs is if you go menu and then graph entry edit. So here again, I can go ahead and edit or enter a function. A relation is what I just showed you, and then they have different types of graphs that you can go ahead and add here. If you are in Calc BC, you can enter a parametric graph or a polar graph. Those are there for you. And then something in Calc AB and BC that will be graphing as differential equations. So that's an option down there as well, okay? And before I go ahead and let you go, I want to just kind of tie this back to our previous video using the calculator tab. So I'm going to add a doc here, or add a page, and I'm going to add a calculator. And I showed you in the previous video using the calculator tab how to define functions. Well, our graphs go ahead and store those functions just the same. So you'll see here I have f1, remember, which was our parabola, x squared. f2, that was our radical function, square root of x. And then the relation one, which was our circle. So if I want to go ahead and now use my calculator, if I've graphed something and say I want to compute a value, so f1, remember this is a parabola. So f1 of, let's just say 5, right? So that's going to input 5 into the function, and 5 squared is 25. So just again, highlighting that, these are dynamic tabs. They communicate with each other, and you can use them interactively. All right, that is the graphing tab. Hope you learned something. Catch you on the next video.